Is being alone a form of contraception? Long as you still ain't got a shape up, it should. Cause what you got going on right now, that is a form of contraception. That is bad. Hey, shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. This is Street Politics, and I am Reese Waters. And, I
need you to meet Senator Bradford Blackmon. He's a state senator of Mississippi, and he just introduced the best possible bill I have ever seen. Mississippi Legislature 2025 regular session. Senate Bill 2319. Y'all are not fucking ready. An act to enact the Contraception Begins at Erection Act. I'm going to say that again. The contraception begins at erection act. To define terms, to provide that it shall be unlawful for a person to discharge genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo, to provide for criminal penalties, to provide certain exceptions, and for related purposes, be enacted by the legislature of the state of Mississippi.
Nah, they be saying anything on TikTok. Nah, last time I was on TikTok, they were talking about Don Julio and Popeyes was going to link up right before Black History Month.
What is 2319?
Well, 2319 is what it boils down to. Is it points out the hypocrisy and the double standard in legislation that we have that targets what women do in their most personal decisions.
Oh, that was real?
A few moments later.
They got a whole article. Contraception begins at erection. Mississippi bill would fine unprotected sex. Really? Really? A bill to ban unprotected sex without the intent of procreation has been filed by a Democrat in the Mississippi Senate. The bill is called the Contraception Begins at Erection Act. And what are the chances? I am like 2% into this. What are the chances that I've already said enough to trigger the YouTube censors? I'm just reading the article. I'm just reading. I ain't even doing that. This is news. This is news. I got on a turtleneck and a jacket and everything. And while the bill has caused snarky jokes to be jabbed at the Magnolia State, and let's be honest, we've had a lot to say about the Magnolia State.
Can you imagine if T.O. would have had an incidents like Brett Favre off the field? T.O. still to this day right now would not be in the Hall of Fame. Yet they walk right past it like Brett Favre did nothing.
That is true.
Brett Favre, according to Mississippi Today, was found to be siphoning funds, welfare funds from the state of Mississippi with the help of former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant to help build a volleyball stadium for the University of Southern Mississippi. It's important to point out that Favre's daughter plays volleyball for that college, and prosecutors are calling this a massive scheme to defraud the government. This is also weird because Favre is currently worth $110 million and made over $138 million while playing in the NFL, not including commercials and sponsorships.
Ole Miss. And while the bill has caused snarky jokes to be jabbed at the Magnolia State again on social media and publications around the country, the bill's author acknowledged the intent is to get a political rise, so to speak, from some opponents. You put that in there? Political rise, so to speak? You thought you were slick? Yeah. You saw the subject matter and you thought what, your sophomore humor was just gonna pop up? You know what I mean? You were just, is that what you thought? I mean, you didn't come all the way. Just a head, just a little bit. Y'all ain't slick. Senator Bradford Blackmon of Canton, the bill's sponsor, said the bill is more of a political jab at Republican policy points to ban some forms of contraception then it is a serious effort to curtail what adults do behind closed doors or open doors, for that matter. Open doors? Really? Mississippi. Okay. I say, so y'all coming for that Bourbon Street money. Is that what y'all doing? Okay. Quote, you have male-dominated legislatures in Mississippi and all over the country that pass laws and dictate what women can and cannot do with their body, Blackmon said of the bill, written in a statement. I was raised by strong parents that preach equality for all. My mother and my father both believe in equal rights for women. When a bill has been filed that would regulate what a man is able to do with his own body in his own home, it suddenly has people in an uproar. I'm trying to figure out, when is it okay for the government to dictate what you do in the privacy of your own home? Apparently, it is when the laws regulate men. It's pretty much church. That was pretty much church. Actually, no, I got one. Well, they also still want to regulate it when it's men with men. You know what I mean? So when it's men with men, then they still want to regulate it. So when it's too many men, they want to regulate it. And when it's no men, when it's just a woman, then they want to regulate it. So it just when it's one man, whatever happens. We don't prosecute or nothing. Pretty much whatever it is that the majority likes to do is cool and nothing else. That is pretty much the law of the land. In an interview with the Clarion Ledger on Thursday, Blackmon said Senate Bill 2319 was filed in the same spirit as a bill by former House Representative Steve Holland of Plantersville, who in 2012 introduced legislation to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America as a joke, poking at Mississippi Republicans' talking points on immigration. Now they did do that. They did. Hey, anybody who was behind that can't be laughing now. I got an idea. How about you just combine those two pieces of legislation and just call it the Gulf of Contraception? Can we do that? I like that idea because I once told an old girlfriend that the baby couldn't be mine because I had inhaled fumes from the Gulf of Mexico. So really, I think Gulf of Contraception, that tracks. This week, President Donald Trump declared the Gulf. It says Donald J. Trump. Is that what we're doing now? Are y'all trying to divorce Trump from 45 Trump? You trying to divorce 47 from 45 Trump by putting J in the middle? When did we start doing that? Now he's President Donald J. Trump. Is that like when Superman put his glasses on, he Clark Kent? I'm not supposed to know the difference? This week, President Donald J. Trump declared the Gulf to be renamed to the Gulf of America. Quote, it's in that same vein, Blackmon said. Blackmon's bill, dubbed the Contraception Begins at Erection Act, would make it illegal for a man to ejaculate without the express intent of fertilizing an embryo if he or the person he was having sex with were not using contraception. Now so it would be legal to ejaculate if he or the person was not using contraception. Now, is being alone a form of contraception? Long as you still ain't got a shape up, it should. Cause what you got going on right now, that is a form of contraception. That is bad. However, if one were using a form of contraception, such as a condom or birth control, that would be okay. Quote, it shall be unlawful for a person to discharge genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo. The bill, it would appear, takes the start of life to a whole new level. And if we're being honest, if we want to start to get into these when life begins discussions, it was really just a matter of time. Like it really was just a matter of time. I mean, you tell me what the line is that they won't cross to try and make this case of when life begins. They gonna start coming for my laundry. I knew it. Hey, can you do me a favor? Pick them socks up over there. If the bill were to pass into law, the bill would fine people who have unprotected sex $1,000 for the first offense, $5,000 for the second, and 10 grand for every offense after that. Man, don't be addicted or have a problem. You're going to be coming out of pockets. Donations to sperm banks would also be exempt from the bill's intent. So that's good. So they thought, they did their due diligence and they thought of that. Yeah. This isn't the first attempt that the Mississippi legislature has tried to regulate men's bodies. In 2000, a Republican filed bill would have called for fines if a man was publicly aroused, even if fully clothed at the time. That bill was aimed at patrons of strip clubs. A $2,000 fine would have been levied. So you weren't allowed to be aroused in public? Not even aroused? And how would you know if they were fully clothed? See, with that bill, we were going to start handing out these transparent pants to all the men in Mississippi. You know what I mean? So that way we could hold one another accountable. The way that Mike Johnson and his family would want it. You need accountability. That must have been a wild time in Mississippi. Just all the dudes out in public looking disgusted and disinterested to save that $2,000. Hey, how about we get out of here and go back home to your place? That sounds like a great idea, but I am not aroused, just so you know. Let's take a look at this actual bill. Yes, this is in fact a real thing, an act to enact the Contraception Begins at Erection Act to define terms to provide that it shall be unlawful for a person to discharge genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo, to provide for criminal penalties, to provide certain exceptions, and for related purposes. It is just comical to have all of this discussion happening with all this legal jargon. This section shall be known and may be cited as the Contraception Begins at Erection Act. It shall be unlawful for a person to discharge genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo. Upon conviction of a violation of this section, a person shall be fined $1,000 for a first offense, $5,000 for a second offense, $10,000 for a third and subsequent offense. One thing I will say, I would like to an amendment, Senator Blackmon. I would like an amendment to that. I don't like that there are financial penalties. Now, I don't like that there are financial because that creates a class system in the people who can afford to discharge and the people who cannot afford to discharge. Because one thing that we know is unless that penalty is punitive enough, it'll create a have and have nots situation. And if you really want to make a point to the people that have been perpetrating this two-tiered system when it comes to our society, those are the haves. Those are folks with money who can afford a first, a second, a third, and a subsequent. So I don't know if the financial penalty is going to be. I think you got to create some sort of like registry. Like if you were to create some sort of registry and hand that out and post that publicly, that would be the kind of thing that would be a better deterrent, in my opinion. So I was at the grocery store earlier, and wait a minute, is that pasta? This section shall not apply to the discharge of genetic material donated or sold to a facility for the purpose of future procedures to fertilize an embryo. Wait a minute. You can sell that? Hey, bring that laundry back. Yeah, bring them socks back. Donated or sold to a facility for the purpose of future procedures to fertilize an embryo, and discharged with the use of a contraceptive or contraceptive method intended to prevent fertilization of an embryo. This act shall take effect and be enforced from and after July 1st, 2025. I like that he did that. I like that he didn't say immediately. He said 2025. You know what I mean? So you got a couple months, to ramp down, so to speak. You know what I mean? You got a couple months to just ramp it down and make sure you in a situation in July where you make better choices after dark. You know what I mean? We make sure some of these blockers are on the laptops at home so that we don't, cross temptation unnecessarily. We gonna be, you got a couple months. He let you know.
This week, a bill filed in the Mississippi State Senate is sparking national headlines.
Yeah, the author of that bill said that the wide array of reactions were not what he expected.
That's a lie. That is a lie. That is definitely what you expected and what you wanted. And quite frankly, I applaud you. I applaud you.
What is 2319?
Look at that smile on his face. Look at that smile. You're like, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one. That's when you know you got something for him. I had that look before a stand-up show where the audience is hot and I know I got something I've been waiting. Ooh, boy. That's that look that you have when you go out at night in Mississippi after they repealed that 2000s law. You know what I mean? After you could, show your enthusiasm in public again. Mm-hmm.
The bill comes after Senator Bradford Blackmon got word about another bill being filed last summer.
I can't remember which bill it was that I saw that was targeting people that helped someone get an abortion. I was like, this is getting out of hand.
I love that he said this is getting out of hand.
He's got greater density in his right forearm than his left. So that suggests there might have been some kind of specialist activity that he was constantly doing.
While you might laugh at this and feel like this is a bridge too far, are we keeping that same energy? Huh? Are we keeping that same energy? Because we have seen a whole lot from what the Christian right is willing to do to legislate other people's activities at home. We've seen a whole lot.
You're weird.
He is weird, but cute.
Gross.
Mary Anderson,
Yes?
I have a warrant for your arrest.
Arrest for what?
Penal Code 243 violation. Unlawful termination of a pregnancy.
You gotta be kidding me.
That is my personal business.
That's for the courts to decide, ma'am. Your medical records have been subpoenaed, and Dr. Landry's already in custody.
No, my God, you can't just...
You will have to submit to a physical examination.
What? By who?
No one's touching me.
Ma'am, turn around! Put your hands behind your back, now!
Why is this happening? Love you, honey bear.
We're just enforcing the law here.
Elections have consequences. Please, don't do this. Please.
Blackmon says even though the title of the bill is getting attention, it has real meaning.
But when you have a title like this, that's what's catching people's attention. So if that's what catches your attention and gets the conversation going, I'm all for it.
Now, by title like this, are you referring to the Contraception Begins at Erection Act, or are you referring to 2319?
2319! We have a 2319!
Now, I have had a good time. I've had a good time presenting you this story. Not too good a time. Not too good a time. I would not have been fined based on the prior statute. I didn't have that good a time, but this has been an enjoyable discussion. This has been an enjoyable exploration of the double standards at play with our standards of decorum in society, for society at large, but also for our legislators. What is and isn't okay to place on the table? Because I don't know of any conversations we've had about legislations placed on the table as it relates to women's bodies that would just dismiss it being outlandish and out of hand. Maybe I did it, but then I saw people were actually signing on to it and it was making its way through the legislature. That has happened multiple times. Shout out to Senator Blackmon for placing this on the table as an idea. Was curious who was the most mad about this. but also for placing a mirror on Mississippi and on America as it relates to gender and politics. Hello? Yeah, I'm just checking. He said it was July 1st, right? July 1st, 2025? Okay. So I'm good till then. Anything goes. Okay. All right. Let me go. I ain't got but so much time before July. Yeah, I got things to do. Hey, I want to thank you guys so much for supporting the channel as we approach a new administration and the changing winds of our media landscape. I want to invite you to join my channel. I think it's very important to preserve a space and a platform where I can communicate clearly and honestly, as all of our creators are hoping to maintain. Unfortunately, it looks like that ground may be evaporating right underneath our feet. So I wanted to let you know I'm going to continue to post on my channel, but I'll also be posting more in the membership section as well, so we can have clear and honest conversations. You can find the button to join right there on my page. There's also a link in the description box to all of my videos. I also want to invite you to join my mindfulness and meditation channel. That's my second channel. It is Way of Waters, because we gonna need it. We gonna need it. I might wear that thing out by the midterms.